Hey folks, how's it going? MagnaFest is approaching fast, and other than my own little shopping list, I've been asked to put together a general guide for what to prioritize. Those items change drastically based on how far along you are with the game's overall progression and which characters or elements you prefer to play though. So I'll be dividing this into early and mid game. First thing first, in terms of upcoming content that's going to require a bit more preparation, we've got a Fire Favorite Red Barrage in June and an Earth Favorite Guild War in July, so those are going to be the two elements that will be worked on the most. Maybe with a little detour on the wind side of things to make farming for Earth weapons a little bit easier. For the early game players, rank 40 to 120, this means hitting twin elements a whole lot for up to 4 4-star Ancient X-Decks. The weapon drops from the host and MVP chests as well as from a 3% golden chest, so make sure to do your daily host to bring drop rate boosting items and to keep your journey drops active while you farm. Weapon wise, the Deception Burner available from the Rise of the Beast brings a 3% boost to drop rates. If you've done Sun Co-op and have the materials to spare, you could craft an Oliver for a 5% boost instead. The April Fool's event came with a Dragon Barb D that brings another 3% boost to drop rate from your grid as well. The summons are a bit harder to come by, with Kaguya being a gacha one, Nobio being from an old event, and the White Rabbit being a bit of a pain to farm for. So slot in whatever you have and look for Kaguya friends. Characters wise, Tien and Star Richard both bring extra drop rate boosts. At your lowest, crew buffs, journey drops, and only a friend Kaguya, the 3% drop rate raises up to a 5%. The moment you add a bounty hunter to the mix, you'll have a 7.5% chance at it. And if you've been lucky or if you've picked Tien as your free Eternal, you'll be able to hit the 300% drop rate boost cap for a 9% chance at the weapon chest. The contents from inside the chest don't actually change, but it's still more chances at the same chest, so it's going to add up. Another important upgrade is going to be your Seraphic weapon. Getting it to SSR requires some Centrums, which are Magna high-level materials, but the experience boost from the MagnaFest should make you fly through ranks. Next up is your Bahamut weapon, and you can get one for free from the What Makes the Sky Blue side story. It requires a few more side stories to be cleared, as well as the main story chapter 54, and skilling it up is likely going to be a nightmare, but it brings a 30% normal attack boost for the entire race of characters. The dagger is the most commonly picked due to the humans being the most common race, but the upgrades to Coda unlocks the boost for a second race as well, so you might want to consider going for either a dagger or a sword based on how many rune or draft characters you're using. Alongside your weapons, you'll need to get your summons to 3 stars and start preparing for the 4-star and 5-star uncaps as well, so make sure to do your Magna hosts. The rest of the grid will be filled with placeholder weapons. One skill level 10 Cane is given as a reward for completing chapter 8, while a skill level 21 was gifted during the anniversary. All that's left are the EX mods weapons, which you can acquire from some side stories, like the school bag from LoL Live. On your way to reaching chapter 54, you will also unlock Arcarum, and I would strongly suggest that you don't let those entry tickets pile up. Try and reach the extreme stage as soon as possible and start working on the attack boosting summons, the Sun and the Hangman, since their damage boost is the same as the Seraphic and it stacks with them too. The Hangman also brings a clear for any element and it's a good stat stick to slot everywhere. Arcarum will also provide plenty of extra weapon drops and lots of experience. In terms of daily farming, I would suggest to never skip on your hard fights. I still do them to this day for pendants. Get your Magna hosts done, host your own twin elements, and then get on your treasure hunter team to hit other twins from Twitter. For the standard quests, you'll need some elemental treasure quests for trial fragments and some showdowns for your Seraphic weapons. Alongside some main story missions, side stories, and Arcarum, you'll hit rank 120 in no time. Entering mid-game. The mid-game goes between rank 120 up to whatever rank you hit when all of your grids have a solid core. At this rank, you'll unlock the Magna 2 fights, which will bring more weapon options your way, as well as the item necessary to 4-star your summons. You'll have to wait until rank 151 and unlock the 6 dragons for the 5-star, but it might be doable in a single MagnaFest. Rank 120 is also the unlock rank for Lucilius Normal and the Dark Opus weapons, and acquiring them will get the first slot in your priority list. If you're low on quartz and you have to choose between completing the Seraphic or getting a Dark Opus, get the Opus. If we are getting another Rise of the Beast this month, the 2 Fire Magna weapons and the 2 Earth Magna weapons will be the priorities there, followed closely by the Wind Gun and the Water Dagger. The event usually takes a couple of months to come back, so if you can grab some 4 to 6 gold bars from it too, it's going to help you a lot in the long run. With Fire at a decent place, it will be time to take a small detour to Grimnir. From him, you'll want a minimum of 2 FLB Hops and possibly 1 FLB Staff. The drop rate for the staff is kind of low though, so going for 3 harps isn't going to be that bad of an idea. With 3 harps, 1 gun, 1 fist, Seraphic, Dark Opus, Bahamut weapon and a couple of random EX mods, it's going to be pretty easy to farm Alexiel for the Magna 2 weapons. For most Magna 2 raids, you'll need to reach around 400k personal honors to guarantee a blue chest. Treasure Hunt only affects a chest that's already a common drop, but doesn't have any Magna 2 weapons in it. For these, you'll ideally want a burst setup that can reach 400k honors in 1 to 2 turns, without charge attacks, and pressing as few buttons as possible. The shopping list for Earth is going to be 2 FLB Axes, 1 Katana, and 1 Ancient Perseus. If you decide to go recruit Kame, you just swap 1 Axe for the Scales of Dominion. The Rise of the Beast Dagger, the Alexiel Katana, and if you have it, a skill level 20 Yggdrasil Sword, possibly with a good auxiliary on it, are all flex items. Hitting rank 151 unlocks the 6th Dragon Advent and raids, and with them, both the Astral and the Ancestral weapons. The first thing to work on at this point will be uncapping your Magna Summons to 5-star, followed by acquiring the Astral weapons. They come with an unworldly 30% EX modifier and will be mainstay in your grids for the foreseeable future. The moment you acquire them, even if you can't ULB them, they also make for pretty great main hands. I think it's going to be unlikely to be done with all the weapon drops by this point, and I'm not sure if I want to suggest people with incomplete grids to chase after Ancestral weapons. Still, doing your daily 6 dragon hosts isn't going to hurt, and if you get lucky with a weapon from a host chest, you can always save it up for later. The next big milestone is at rank 170, when you unlock the Lucilius high level and the possibility to ULB your Dark Opus weapons to get their 3rd skill. Again, the Ascendant Prayer made acquiring this upgrade extremely easy, and it's well worth the gold bar cost. Since this is the highest rank requirement the game throws at you, I'm going to call whatever is past this point late game. This is where you'll be hunting for extra weapon options. With a solid core grid, it's going to be easy to farm the Ancestral weapons. For Galleon, 1 gun might already be more than enough to guarantee the EX plus 2k, but a 2nd one might enable faster comps. Then there's always the farm for the perfect AX skills. After the Ancestrals and the Astral ULBs, all that's left is farming for the Evokers and the New World Foundation weapons. Then there's the Eternal Angel Halo grind for 5 stars and 6-star rank caps, and you've got your gold bar farmer of choice. But these last stages are a bit too personal for me to butt into, and if you're at this point of the game, you shouldn't really need anyone's advice on what to farm for next anyway. So here's my MagnaFest list. Hopefully it can be a useful example. Alright then, that's going to be it for me for the moment. As always, thanks a lot for watching, good luck with your drops during MagnaFest, and see you soon. Ciao!